15 races spanning the globe, many miles of racing, and it all comes down to this one race on a sodden Interlagos circuit. Hello everybody, welcome along to this, the final round of the inaugural Formula A World Championship. This is the Brazilian Grand Prix. The rain has really started coming down heavily in the last few minutes as we wait now to find out who will be crowned our first ever World Drivers' Champion. To the track then, the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, better known as Interlagos. 15 corners, 10 to the left and 5 to the right. 18 laps to be contested here today, and at the end of them, we shall crown our first ever World Drivers' Champion. Only Milton Vervay, Alexia Pernet and Sergio Arbeloa stand a chance for the title. A 5th place finish will guarantee Vervay's triumph, while a top 2 finish is required from both Pernet and Arbeloa for them to stand a chance to keep their hopes alive. So it's all to play for in this final race of 2021. With that being said, let's look at the starting grid for today's race. It's Alexia Pernet on pole position, followed very closely by Chloe Thomas on the front row. Fellow championship contender Sergio Arbeloa starts in 3rd, with Luca Gatto 4th place. He's still being linked with that second fireside seat for next season. Manuel Hadre lines up P5 with Lucas Favroni notching one of his best qualifying sessions of the season. He starts in 6th. Then it's SOFI Sevilla who couldn't contend for the title today, and championship leader Milton Vervay, again he needs 5th place to guarantee the world title. Max Schmidt starts in P9 for Ruiz, and Luigi Marchetta surprisingly ran out a top 10 for Morimoto, which could be their last race. There's Oscar Diaz for XCT, and Liam Turnbull for Thornton starting in 12th position. In 13th is Eric Turner and the other Ruiz, followed closely by Nathan Vigneault in the ABBEY Academy car. He's on for rookie of the year this season. And Scott Price in 15th for Jaguarati, and William Evans in the other ABBEY Academy, he rolls at 16th. Pascal Beck had another poor qualifying session yesterday. He starts in 17th. There's Joe Daly on his outside with Elton Moore, and Mick WHELAN and the other actor 76 and Eduardo Melo in his home race today, moving towards the back. And finally, on the last row is Rika Tanaka for Morimoto and Bruno Cabral for Thornton. So with that, let's get this race underway. This is it. This is where mind, machinery and man all come together, and we ask, who is going to be the first ever Formula A World Champion, as we go to 5 red lights for the Brazilian Grand Prix, the final race of the season. Alexia Pernet on pole position. Lights go out and we are underway. It's a good getaway from the Frenchman who pulls away to the early lead over Thomas as they head towards turn 1. Gatto's got a good start on the inside. He'll move up into 3rd place. Going down into that first corner, it's Pernet who assumes control. She's got a decent lead here and she'll take the early advantage. Where is Milton Vervay? He's still down in 8th place. He's got work to do today. Of course, he only needs 6th place to be champion. If Pernet was to win this thing, he needs 7th if Pernet was to finish 2nd. But right now, she's got the lead in that scenario. That's the scenario we're following. She's got half second on Chloe Thomas here on the start. Chloe Thomas runs 2nd. Luca Gatto 3rd. Arbeloa trying to take advantage, trying to go for that 3rd position once again. Of course, he lost it on the start. He's going to be desperate to get that one back, considering he's got the smallest chance of winning the title today. Further on we go now into the lap. Vervay still running in that 8th spot. Like I say, he's got work to do today. Right now his world championship is in passing Favroni and SOFI Sevilla, who would have been contending today had she managed to score just one more point. And obviously her chance would still have been extremely slim. If she had scored one more point in the last race, she would have only been 24 points back. But right now, she wouldn't be able to win it due to count back, because she stands 25 points back coming into today. So count back would mean that Vervay would win the championship if she was to win the race and Vervay wasn't to score any points. Regardless, Pernet is still in control of this thing, and right now she will be your world champion if she can hold on for the entire race. But Chloe Thomas is closing in. I don't see how, if she can and go, and you know that the South African will go for the move. But nonetheless, Pernet will lead the first lap of this race. There goes Arbeloa to the inside. He's looking for 3rd place, and he's got it. Going down into turn 1 against the driver that could be his future teammate next year. Pascal Beck, of course, had a poor session yesterday in qualifying. He started this one down in 17th, so he's got serious work to do. We've missed Vervay making his way past Lucas Favroni, and his next target now being SOFI Sevilla in the ABBEY Grand Prix machine, who's trying to close in on Dalton Moore's Manuel Hadre. She goes all the way down to the inside. Hadre's good to cover. Defensive driving, serving her well then. She's run wide, and that could be the opportunity right further for Vervay to catch right back up, and he's right back in within the distance of passing range between himself and SOFI Sevilla, and that'll be the position he needs to win the World Championship from here. Al Hadre still running in 5th place, closing in on Luca Gatto, who runs 4th. Still Arbeloa in 3rd place, Chloe Thomas in 2nd, and Pernet leading the way. And things will be good for Apex today because they already stand 1-2 in the championship for the first time this season. It'd be good for them if Pernet was to win the race and Vervay to then become champion. From a team's perspective, of course, these guys are expected to run 2nd behind FIRESIDE for the majority of the season. But of course, FIRESIDE, only one of their drivers has already managed to come to the fore, and that's why Apex have already won the Constructors' Championship coming into today. Up the hill they come once again. The gap very slim now between Sevilla and Vervay. He could get a very good run coming off the last corner and towards the line. Will he get close enough to go for a move going through the first sector here, or through the first sector on the next lap? Pernet leads lap number 2 of this Brazilian Grand Prix, keeping an eye on Vervay and Sevilla as they head down to that first corner. A mistake from Sevilla would allow the Brit to find her way past. It wouldn't be the first time a Brit has won the World Championship in Brazil. We look back to 2008, in which Lewis Hamilton made the pass for 5th place on the final lap, and that was what he needed to win the title by just 1 point. El Hadre now looking to make a move on Luca Gatto, going into the left-hander. It's going to be close, but Gatto holds his nerve around the outside, and he holds on to P4. Very good stuff there from a driver, like I said, who is being considered for the FIRESIDE seat next season. It is looking like a formality that Pascal Becker will lose that ride, unless something was to change in that regard. And we've had an incident in the back. It's Eduardo Melo, and I think that's MICK WHELAN. Yes, it is. These two coming together early on, and Melo is spinning around trying to get himself going again. He can't seem to get himself moving in the rain, but there we go. He's got himself going at last, so he's no damage sustained to either one of these two drivers. They're still in the running for this thing, although points are we're looking like a long shot today, and they're definitely an even longer shot now. Here's Riku Tanaka closing in on Bruno Cabral. Tanaka hasn't had the best of rookie years. Of course, he had to spend it in underperforming machinery, so nothing much he could have really done about that. But he is being considered for seats next season. He's had some of those standout performances, and he, like I say, being considered for a seat in 2022, either with Morimoto or further up the grid. SOFI Sevilla now closing in on El Hadre as they go through turn 1. Of course, El Hadre's had a very stellar season and is battling for 6th place in the Drivers' Championship. But now Vervay is really close to the Spaniard as they come down the Hetero Posta, heading down in towards the left-hander once again. Sevilla defends the inside line, but Vervay goes even deeper trying to go in, but he's run wide. He's made a bit of an error there. He had to back out of the move at the last second, and that's the reason why he's still there, down in 7th place. And in the meantime, Arbeloa has made his way past Chloe Thomas, and that puts him up into 2nd place. If Arbeloa was to take the lead, Vervay would still be champion because he needs 7th place if Pernet was to finish 2nd. And in order for Arbeloa to win the race, he'd need to win this thing. In order for Arbeloa to win the title, he'd need to win the race and have Vervay down in 8th. So he's 1 place up, and he'd be relying on Oscar Diaz to make a move, or catch up and make that move for 7th place in the running. An issue would need to come on Vervay's car to have him knock him out of the title fight, and it'd be just between Pernet and Arbeloa. Speaking of the Mexican, he needs to be careful here because Chloe Thomas could get a very good run in that ABBEY Grand Prix machine. The top 3 already secure in the Constructors' Championship for all 3 of these guys, as was expected earlier on in the season. 3 different constructors on the podium as of now. Pernet sets the fast lap of 1:24.1. Vervay still not in position to win the World Championship, but like I say, he needs 6th or better in order to do it. El Hadre really close once again to Luca Gatto. Arbeloa pulling away a bit more now, and that could be the end of that battle unless Thomas was close back in. Look how close El Hadre is getting this time. Down the Hetero Posta to come again. Will he make that move all the way down to the inside of the track? He's going inside. Will he go for it? He's done the same thing that Vervay did on the previous lap, and that's why Gatto's still in P4. Vervay's falling away a bit more now from SOFI Sevilla, who at this point, if they were to pull away, he may have to rely on contact and some kind of incident ahead of him if he wanted to win the World Championship. He just needs that 1 place. He's still got 13 laps to go in this thing, so he's not too, I wouldn't say he's too worried, but it'd be comforting to know you're in that position and able to win the title from where you are. Chloe Thomas still there, still hounding the back end of the car, driven by Sergio Arbeloa. His FIRESIDE appears to be in peak condition. Of course, qualifying may have lost him the edge yesterday, and that's why. And Pernet's obviously in control of this thing. She has been to start since she started on pole position. So he's got a 3-second lead that Arbeloa will be looking to quickly try and close down as fast as he can. And here they come now, up out of Junso and towards the line. Once again, could El Hadre go for a move for 4th place on Gatto as they head towards turn 1? He's definitely closing in. Will he make a move to that left-hand side? We'll go right on board with him going into the first corner. There he goes. He's going underneath. They come very close to contact, but El Hadre has the space going through turn 1, and that'll be the Daltamore machine driven by the Arab up into P4. And Gatto has to slow up, and that's going to allow Vervay to close right back in. He tried to go around the outside for a minute there. I don't really see where he was going with that. These four running nose to tail here as they ride down the Heteroposta once again. Gatto pulling to the inside, trying to go for 4th place as they head to the corner, but everyone's going way wide. There's been a few mistakes, and around goes Gatto. Gatto spinning the car on a 360-degree turn, and there he goes. He's fallen out of P7, out of P5 and into P8, and that is just what Milton Vervay needs. He's now in championship winning position. Well, El Hadji now assumes 4th, Sevilla 5th, and like I say, Vervay 6th, which is enough for him to win the title from where he is. He just needs to hang on this late on in the race. Well, sorry, this early on. He's still got 12 more laps to go. I dare say let's go for a higher position. If he finishes in the top 5, he is guaranteed to win the championship regardless of where Pernet finishes. He's trying to find a way inside of Sevilla, but not quite making that move just yet. He may have to wait coming out of Junso once again unless Sevilla tries to make a move on El Hadji, who looks to be pulling away. That battle looks to be over, but unfortunate for Gatto here, who's fallen all the way down to, where is he now? He's down, well no, he's still down in P8, so my bad there. I thought he'd fallen out the points for a minute, but anyway, let's take a look at this battle here. Max Schmidt haranguing the back of Lucas Favoroni's AXEL 76 machine. Ruiz and AXEL 76, two very evenly matched cars. Of course, AXEL have had the edge so far this season in the championship. And we're just going to keep an eye on Pascal Becker here, who started 17th. He's making moves. He's already up to P12. He's just found his way past Liam Turton in the Thornton. And of course, he's got 3 cars right there in front of him that all could be his next targets. His first target on that list is the Jaguar RT of Scott Price. Of course, he hasn't really had the same luck as his teammate this season, who's just done incredibly well, the Italian, but the American hasn't had as much luck. Maybe next season, should Gatto go to Fireside, he may have to step up and be the team leader at Jaguar RT next year. The yellow's out for some reason. We're not quite sure why. Someone must have spun somewhere. Oh, and it's William Evans, the ABBEY Academy driver, the American, or the other American, out of the race. He must have hit the wall. He's hit the wall somewhere going through the Center S, and that's a poor way to end his season. Not the best of seasons for the ABBEY Academy driver. He's definitely been outperformed by Nathan Dagnot in the other ABBEY Academy machine. And I dare say there is a risk that he may not be back with us next season. It all depends on what the ABBEY GP team decide to do. Pernet still with a big lead here, but she knows right now that it's not enough. She needs Vervay to fall out of 6th place in order to win the championship herself. I don't think that's going to happen here. Vervay making a move now. He's definitely closing on Sevilla. He's been trying for a few laps to get past her. And here he goes on the inside, going into turn 1. Sevilla runs way wide in turn 1. That's going to allow Oscar Diaz to close right in. Sevilla's still got the edge. She's on the outside. She'll retake P5, and Vervay loses momentum big time. Now this could be a risk, because here comes Oscar Diaz in the XCT. The Colombian could have a serious chance of going on the attack within the next lap or so. So you have to be very careful for this one here. Keep an eye on this battle, because it could be the difference between the World Championship or not. Like I say, Vervay needs P6. He's still got to hold on for the next 10 laps. Speaking of holding on, Alexia Pernet also needs to hold on for 10 laps in order to win the race, and she'll have to hope that something does happen with that battle between Vervay and Diaz in order for herself to be crowned world champion. Of course, I don't think of anyone else who really deserves it. She's been consistent all season. Vervay's only been consistent for the second half of the season. He's been winning races left, right, and centre. He's got 5 wins to his name. Pernet only has 3, I believe. But still, she's been up there all season leading it. She's led the championship more than any other driver. Only SOFI Sevilla has led the championship, and Milton Vervay. Only those 3 drivers have led it. Oscar Diaz now incredibly close to Vervay as they come back up the hill once again and back towards the grandstands. Of course, we're keeping an eye on some of these drivers. So of course, it's the home race today. Lucas Favoroni running in P9 for the home fans. May we see him in a better car next season? Only time will tell. We never quite know in Formula A. The transfer window will be starts during the off season, so there'll be all sorts of time to make moves there. And speaking of making moves, there goes Pascal Becker up into P11. He's made his way past Max Schmidt. Maybe it's not a formality that Fireside choose to let him go. I mean, they definitely want a bright future for their driver, who of course has served them well so far this season. Of course, he hasn't been able to live up to the heights of his teammate, and that's what's been keeping him from challenging for the Constructors' title. But he's still a great driver in his own right, and there he goes, proving that. He goes to the inside of Scott Price. They come very close to contact. He forces Price out, and now he has to gain momentum again, but nonetheless has put him up into the points-paying positions. Very good driving them. Pascal Becker has made up a few places since the start of this race. Heading towards the halfway mark of this thing. Pernet still in complete control of the race lead. Arbeloa still holding off Chloe Thomas in P2. El Hadre has a strong hold on P4 now, and SOFI Sevilla has a train of cars building up behind her, with Milton Vervay and Oscar Diaz contending for that 5th spot. And this battle could prove crucial as to who wins the World Championship, and this could mean that Vervay is put on edge all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. Unless Diaz was to fall behind or something was to happen in front of him, he'd have no threat whatsoever. Diaz is falling away now, so maybe Vervay is gonna try and take P5 here. Could he go for the snatch? I don't think he's close enough to make a move on Sevilla going into that first corner. Of course, a very undignified end to the season for SOFI Sevilla. You would have thought she would have been contending for the World Championship come the last race of the year, but the instance in Baku have only meant that she will not be contending. And here comes Oscar Diaz now, the Colombian right there behind Vervay. He pulls to the inside. This could get dicey. Here they come, heading down in towards the left-hander, but he pulls back into line. A bit anticlimactic there. We were really hoping for a battle up here in the booth, but unfortunately nothing's come of it as of now. This battle definitely not over yet. He's still got to hold on for the next 9 laps. SOFI Sevilla, this has allowed her to pull away. She's still in 5th place, holding on to that spot, doing a very good job. Her defensive driving knowing no bounds. El Hadre still running in P4, and this looks to be good for him because it looks like he will be taking P6 in the Drivers' Championship unless Oscar Diaz can do something about it from P7. Of course, those two have been definitely some of the standout performers this season. They've had incredible years for the cars they've been driving. We may see them in better drives next season, or they may choose to stick with their current teams. Who knows? They've definitely earned the right to go to whichever team on the paddock they really choose. Pernet still in control of this thing. She's got a 5-second advantage over Sergio Arbeloa, who's got half a second on Chloe Thomas, who just can't get close to the Mexican in front of her. She'd need to rely on Arbeloa making a mistake of some kind for her to really have a go. El Hadre still in control of P4. Oscar Diaz still right there, haranguing Vervay in the hunt for P6. Diaz seems to have fallen away a little bit more once again, but I have no doubt he'll be able to make all that stuff out right back once again. Because if he doesn't, then Vervay may move up into P5, and that will be what he needs to claim the championship outright. Because right now he's only just in position to do it. Is Sevilla still running P5? She's had little to no threat because while Vervay's been right behind her, he's been busy dealing with Oscar Diaz. And she's trying to close in on El Hadre, who seems to be dropping back a little bit. I don't think he's got a problem on the car, but he's just not as fast as he normally seems to be. Of course, he had a very good opportunity to almost win a race this year at the Turkish Grand Prix. Of course, he spun early on while leading the race, and instance didn't really go his way for the majority of the race, and that's why he ended up where he was. But he could have taken a victory, but instead it was his rival Oscar Diaz who took his first career victory. So 2021's been very successful for him in that regard, taking XCT's first and only victory. Perhaps Dalton Moore will be in a position to win races in the coming seasons. Vervay not close enough here to be making a move on Sevilla. She's definitely pulling away. The Spaniard has a commanding advantage, about just over half a second. But we look at the gaps here between Vervay and Diaz. It's about a second now, so the Colombian would have to rely on a mistake from the Brit in order to make that move, and he seems to be closing in on Sevilla once again now. Never really know where this thing's going to go, but Vervay has been in control of the championship since he took P6. Pernet knows what she's doing up front is not enough. Below his position is not enough. He's let Chloe Thomas back through. I never actually noticed that. She's up into P2 now. There goes Max Schmidt in the Rules machine. Don't know what's happened to him. He's spun somewhere massively. Not quite sure where he is on the track. He's all the way up in the hills at Junso. That's not good for him at all. Is he going to have to wait for Pernet to go through? No idea how he's managed to find his way up there. That's a bit mad. How's he made his way up there? No idea how that's happened. We can only hope he gets himself out of that little jam. We've got to keep our eyes on this race. It's still Pernet in control. That yellow flag did nothing to deter her from continuing to build the lead. I think she may have an even bigger lead now. Going over the line. We'll have to look at the gaps. This time it's definitely more than 5 seconds. 5.9. That's the gap between Alexia Pernet and Chloe Thomas. Vervay closing in once again on SOFI Sevilla. Diaz falling away, and it looks like the championship may be going Vervay's way unless he makes some kind of mistake or gets shut off while battling with Sevilla. El Hadre slowing up here. I think he might have a problem, right? He had a really poor exit, made a mistake somewhere. Nonetheless, he's quite slow, and SOFI Sevilla is going to try and go for a move. Going down into the left hand, and once again, she's breezing her way past. Will Vervay try and follow suit? If one of them goes wide, then he could find an advantage too. Sevilla's got the place, but she almost went way off her line. But she's pulling away now, and it looks like she's got P4 nailed down, and Vervay still needs to find his way past to absolutely solidify the Drivers' Championship. Gatto running P8, Pascal Becker in P9, Lucas Favroni just back in the points, but Scott Price trying to close him down. Pernet still in control of this race. Yellow flags are still out. I think they're still trying to pull Max Schmidt's car away and out of the running. Here comes Arbeloa once again. He needs to get second place back if he wants any chance of winning the championship, because if something was to happen to Pernet late on, he could be in right position to take advantage. 5 more laps to go. Pernet knows what she's doing, like I've said all race. She knows that being the lead right now is not enough. She needs Vervay to be down in P7, but it looks like he's about to take P5, and that'll guarantee the championship for him outright. Going down into turn 1, he's got the place into that first corner of El Hadre. It's definitely a lot slower now than he was earlier on in the race. But if someone can capitalise, then he may still lose the championship from where he is, or if he was to retire, he would still lose the championship. Down the straight they come. Can El Hadre get a run? He seems to be too slow. I don't think he can at this point in the race. And the next threat, if El Hadre is to fall away, the next threat of the fastest car behind them would be Luca Gatto in the JAGER RT. If he was to close up, that could make this battle a whole lot more interesting. If El Hadre can stay close to Vervay and keep putting constant pressure on him, then he can still have an influence on the end of this World Championship. Pernet, like I say, still in complete control of the race lead. Chloe Thomas still running second, with Arbeloa still trying to find his way back past again. He needs second place to have any sort of chance of winning the championship. His chances are slim enough already. Going in today, he was 17 points back. Winning the championship from here would be a real underdog victory. Going into this thing third and snatching the title away from the 2 Apex drivers, reminiscent of 2007, where Kimi Räikkönen and the Ferrari snatched the championship from the 2 McLaren drivers, Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton, at this very place in Interlagos. Vervay still running 5th. He's got to hold on for just 4 more laps. He's got half second on El Hadre going into turn 1. A mistake could put him under serious pressure less later on in the race. Take a look at how the positions have been changed throughout this race. Pernet, Chloe Thomas and Sergio Arbeloa are still in their original starting positions. SOFI Sevilla and Milton Vervay have gained 3 places each. Mohamed El Hadre has lost 1. Oscar Diaz has gained 4. Luca Gatto has lost 4. Pascal Becker has gained 8 places. He's had a very good race. And Lucas Favroni has lost 4 but still sits in the points in front of his home crowd. Pernet still needs to win this race to have any sort of chance at the championship. If Gatto can, like I said, if Gatto can close in, that could make this thing a whole lot more interesting. That train still keeps on going. Diaz trying to close in on El Hadre. If Vervay can get past SOFI Sevilla, then that could be the championship over right then and there. A crash between those two would mean that Pernet would seize the championship, because Arbeloa, it seems to be falling back now into Chloe Thomas. Currently provide much more of a threat. Pernet still leads, 3 laps to go. Vervay's definitely catching up to Sevilla. Could he try and get the slipstream going in towards turn number 1? I don't think it's going to be close enough this time to go for a move. If he can hold on to P5, the championship is definitely his. The yellow flags are out. We're not quite sure why. I had to have a look at that. Someone must have spun somewhere. Not quite sure where the yellow flags are. What's going on there? Oh, and it's Bruno Cabral in the Thornton. He spun around. It looks to be around the same sort of area as where Max Schmidt spun out. He's getting himself going again. Is that smoke coming from his car? I think he's okay. No, I think that's just spray. You can never really tell with these at the wet races. Arbeloa now right there behind Chloe Thomas, putting her under serious pressure. Is she slowing up, or is Arbeloa has he just found that little bit of speed that's still left in the fireside? Vervay and Sevilla pulling away now from El Hadre and Oscar Diaz. Pernet running a bit wide and off her line there. Could she be feeling the pressure this late on in the championship? She's got no pressure behind her. All she needs to do is keep on coming and hope that Vervay makes a mistake. But it's Sevilla who's made a bit of a mistake there. Vervay's gone a bit lower. He's still trying to find his way past. If I was him, I'd just be trying to bring home 5th place, because I know that's enough. I wouldn't try and go for more if I didn't have to. The championship's more important at the end of the day, and he's 2 laps away from achieving said championship. Here he comes now. Back through past the grandstands. You can tell if he can close up to Sevilla, he'll try and make that move. There goes DIAZ now to the inside of El Hadres. They're going to turn 1, and that might just settle things. Unless Gatto can find his way past. These two battling are only allowing Vervay to pull away. They may have no more influence on the championship. And short of an error or a retirement of some kind due to mechanical failure in Vervay's car, it looks like he's going to be the 2021 World Champion. Arbeloa has fallen back a bit more now to Chloe Thomas. It looks like she'll be holding on to 2nd place in these final 1.5 laps. Pernet's held the lead for the entire race. She's gone unchallenged since the opening lap. And she'll be heading for her 4th victory of the season, meaning that Apex have won just over half of the races we've held in 2021. But unfortunately for her, after the season she's had, it's not quite enough for her to claim the World Championship. El Hadre still holding off, still way past DIAZ. I almost thought he was going to spin for a second there, but I think he's okay. Vervay not close enough to move on to Sevilla, and that's just the right position he wants to be in. If he was to make a mistake now, going on to this last lap, there'd be no World Championship. Alexia Pernet now starts her final lap. She's got a 7.5 second lead on Chloe Thomas, who's got a second now on Sergio Arbeloa. His championship is done. And Vervay now starts his final lap, bringing the victory home and the championship home for Team Apex UK in what has been a very successful season for them. Short of a last lap mistake, the championship is Vervay's as long as he stays where he is. But I think he might try and go for a move on Sevilla. He's got the capacity to. Has he got the car and the willpower to do it? This could be his last move of the season. The question is, will he manage to make it past? Nice and clean going into the corner. He forces Sevilla wide, but he's taken 4th place away on the last lap of the race. And he's definitely going to secure the World Championship now. Arbeloa's drawing back. It's all over for him, as it has been since the start of this race. Pernet's heading for her 4th victory of the campaign. Here she comes now, through to start the last sector for the final time. She's driven an exceptional season this year, and it is gut-wrenching for her to be not walking away with the championship after the whole thing. She was the favourite at the midway point of the season, despite the fact SOFI's view was closing in on her, but she's still coming through to take an incredible victory here. My bad. Pernet comes to the last corner to win the Brazilian Grand Prix, her 4th win of the season, but it's not enough. Chloe Thomas comes home in 2nd, Sergio Arbeloa 3rd, and here he is, the British driver who retired on lap 2 of the Austrian Grand Prix, the season opener, is coming through to take the first ever Formula A World Championship. Milton Vervay is the 2021 Formula A World Drivers' Champion.
Well done. You've only gone and done it, mate. Yeah, I'm feeling it, pal. I'm feeling it.
That's the greatest moment of my life. Thank you guys so much.
Wow, what a race it's been, what a season it's been. And the silverware all goes to Team Apex UK, having one of the most dominant seasons I've seen in any form of motor racing, and it all tops off with Milton Vervay being crowned the World Drivers' Champion of 2021. Congratulations to Vervay, congratulations to Apex UK. They certainly deserve it. They've been by far and away the best team all season. They've beaten FIRESIDE and ABBEY Grand Prix, and Vervay is your world champion. So here he comes now, through from his victory lap. 9 podiums, 5 of them race victories. A real resurgence in the second half of the season has allowed this man, Milton Vervay, to become the 2021 Drivers' Champion. It's a championship double for Team Apex. They thoroughly deserve it after the season they've had. What an effort from the whole team, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the number 1 on Vervay's car for next season. There he goes there, doing his donuts after a well-deserved championship victory. Got a feel for both Pernet and Arbeloa, but this man has beaten them both. So let's have a look then, without further ado, at the final classification for today's Brazilian Grand Prix. Alexia Pernet duly wins the race. Wasn't enough to win the championship. Chloe Thomas in second place. Sergio Arbeloa in third. A very great race for all of them. You got to feel for those 2 retirees at the very end. Max Schmidt had a puncture late on for Ruiz, and William Evans with the transmission issue, putting him out of the race. Vervay finished 4th, and it gave him his first ever World Championship by just 2 points over his teammate. Arbeloa comes home in 3rd. SOFI finishes 4th. 27 points off the top spot, and Chloe Thomas just about notching the 200-point mark. She comes home in 5th. Oscar Diaz beats Mohamed El Hadre to 6th place, with Pascal Becker behind both of those two. And a final look at the Constructors' standings. Apex run away with the Constructors' Championship. ABBEY Grand Prix in 2nd place, and FIRESIDE in 3rd. They'll be hoping to come back stronger next season. XCT beat Delta Moore to take away 4th place, with JAGER RT in 6th, AXEL 76 in 7th. Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed the first ever season of Formula A racing. We hope to see you next year for the 2022 edition of what has been a very thrilling racing championship so far. Thanks for watching, guys.